Hi everyone, welcome to Cupboard Creations. My name is Gareth and this is my little corner of the internet for playing with my food. I'm going to take you through something today a bit different to my normal stuff. I'm going to do what I'm calling my supermarket sushi. So I'm going to take you through a couple of little sushi recipes, and it's really all centered around the idea that you can't necessarily get super fresh fish. So very quickly, the first thing we're going to do, sushi is all about the rice. We're going to get the rice on. So what I've got here for two people, I'm just going to do a couple of rolls, a couple of hand rolls, is 200 grams of sushi rice. And to that, we're going to add 250 ml of water. What you want to do before that is just make sure you've washed that rice off a bit. Just get rid of some of the starch. So 3 or 4 times, just run it through a cold tap, give it a mix around, drain it off, do that a couple more times. So we'll add in our 250 ml of cold water, then we'll stick that on the hob and we'll cook that up, get it to the boil and simmer it for about 10 minutes, and then leaving the lid on, turn it off, leave it for another 20, just so it can sit there and absorb all that water. So I'll get cracking with that and I'll catch you in a bit. Okay, so my rice has been boiling now for 10 minutes. It's just going to sit there for another 20. While we're doing that, I'm just going to take you through what I'm calling this like my supermarket sushi. And the main reason for that is obviously, as I said earlier, we're not going to use any raw fish. Reason for that is there's no marker, especially in the UK, I don't know about anywhere else, there's no marker that says this is sushi grade. It's not like going for organic meat where it's stamped, we all know where it's come from. If you go into a fishmonger, fantastic, you can just ask them. You'll know how fresh it is. The fresher it is, the better. But you can still make lovely sushi without it. So, first of all, just the veg. You know, I absolutely love sushi with just veg. It's fine, it's got a real crunch to it, loads of flavours in there. So all I've got, quite simply, is some carrot, some red pepper, some cucumber and some spring onions. And that should be enough. And then to that, an avocado, which I'll chop up just before I'm ready to use it, just stop it going too brown. Then we're going to play with it a bit. I always like to. So I'm going to use pickled gherkins and strip those up. And I think that's one of the things of this, is you can use whatever you like. I mean, I absolutely love those things, so why not? You know, that with a bit of smoked salmon or something is perfect. So we're going to take you now to the fish. I'm going to use seafood sticks. Used to be called crab sticks here. I'm not entirely sure there was ever any crab in them, but now they're called seafood sticks, probably more fitting. Great taste. They're exactly the right size for doing this. Smoked salmon. You know, what's better than smoked salmon? Absolutely delicious. That smokiness just brings another element into your sushi. And the last thing is tinned crab meat. Now we've got white crab meat here, which is beautiful on its own, but it's quite a mild flavour. It's not got the hit of your brown crab meat, but it still brings that kind of fishy quality to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to liven that up a bit. So we're going to take that crab meat, which I've just drained and washed off because it's in brine. And to that, I'm going to add some wasabi. So I'm going to go about 50-50 on this. You'll see why in a second. Oh, it's a new one. Let's get the top off. I'm going to add a whole heaped teaspoon to it. There's a fair bit of crab meat there, and that is a lot of wasabi. So depending on how well you can handle it, I can handle it. I can, I promise. And then we're going to put in about the same of salad cream. Strange combination, I know, but it just works so well. We give that a mix around. So there it is. I mean, you've got 3 different types of fish there, loads of veg, no need for any of the raw ingredients, which means you know, you can get people who wouldn't normally be into it. And that can only be a good thing. So we'll leave that there. We'll wait till that's done. I'll come back and I'll show you how to make it. See you in a bit. Okay, so my rice has now been sitting there for its 20 minutes. Now we're going to season it. Now, sushi seasoning is just rice vinegar and sugar. But they make it even easier. You can buy it in a usual supermarket just as it is. So it's that 200 grams of rice. We're going to add in 3 of these. Perfect. And then just gently fold it all over. It's very sticky, but that's good. So that's all done. We've got all our veg. We've got all our fish. What do we need to actually make the sushi? Well, we need sheets of nori, which I've got here. Again, just packet sheets of nori. We need some kind of rolling mat. So this is not actually a sushi rolling mat. This is a placemat, but it's made out of little sticks of, I think, balsa wood. It's not bamboo, but it works just as well. Anything that you can kind of move around would work fine. And then a couple of little things that make life a little bit easier. So I've got these vinyl gloves. These aren't necessary. I do look like I'm getting ready to do some damage to someone coming through the airport, but they're so useful when it comes to that rice. Because once you get your fingers in there, it sticks to everything. So those vinyl gloves, if you enjoy doing this and you want to do it more often, they're absolutely brilliant for it. And then a little bit of olive oil. Now where that really helps is, again, just once you've got the glove on, or even if you've just got your hands, a little bit of olive oil rubbed onto your hand just stops that rice sticking. So that's all we need for that. I'm going to bring you in closer and start showing you making some of the rolls. Okay, so the first thing we're going to make here is our maki roll. Very simple. We want half a sheet of nori. So just take your full sheet, which would have been like that, chop it in half, lay it down. Then get your hand, pour in just a little bit of olive oil, probably a bit too much there, never mind. And then you want to grab a bit of your rice. So nice and simple, whack it down and then gradually smear it out. You want a fairly thin covering, so don't go too crazy, because these, especially if you're doing it with a half roll, so we're doing quite small rolls, if you put too much on, you're never going to close it. So we're just going to push that to the edge. There, a bit more. You notice what we've done is we've gone right to the edge here, we've left an edge there. Now the reason for that is that flap's going to be what sticks it all together. So the easiest thing I found here is just stick a couple of little bits of rice, 1 or 2 along that edge. What that will mean is when you roll it over, they'll make sure it sticks. And now you've done that, it's a case of what do you fancy on it? So I'm going to go pretty, I would say, classic with this. Let's put some smoked salmon on. Just want to line it up the middle there. Go, probably just a little bit in there. Just so it's nice and even, or as even as you can get it. And then we're going to put some avocado in, because I really like smoked salmon and avocado. And that's what this is all about. It's about putting in what you like, not what a book or I tell you. And then we're going to go with some spring onion. That's about as neat as I can get it. Like I say, these are quite small rolls. Now, just for this, because I like the flavour, I'm just going to put a little, very small amount of salad cream down there. I just really like that kind of vinegary flavour that mixes with it. So now, I'm going to roll that up. So quite simply, you just want to bring that across, use your fingers, tuck it in, make sure you get it as tight as you can. It's not going to be perfect, I'm no sushi master, but that's the fun part. Have a bit of fun with it. Excellent. Now, that's roll over, just grab it, give it a roll, just rub it backwards and forwards until it sticks. Don't put too much pressure on it, but you want a bit. And that doesn't barely make sense, but you know, you want to chop it in half with your fingers. But there you go. Bits will always fall out the end. So we'll just poke that back in, tighten that down, and there is our first maki roll. Okay, so that's our maki roll out of the way. Lovely stuff. Now we're going to do an Ura Maki, which is an inside out roll. So we start off the same. We're going to place our piece of nori down to the other half of that one. And we're going to put our rice on. For this time, we're just going to go right to the edge. Now what you will notice, which I forgot to mention, is I've covered this in cling film. Now the reason we're doing that is an Ura Maki, the inside out roll, we're going to turn it over. If we turn it over and just do it straight onto any kind of rolling mat, you're just going to squeeze all the little bits of rice through the rolling mat. So just going to put a little bit more on there. Now we want to grab that, flip it over. Perfect. And then we can start filling this one up. So let's go a bit different here. Let's grab one of our seafood sticks. That's going to be too wide for a smaller roll. So we just slice it in half. Can lay these down. Okay. And I'm going to put in some of my pickled gherkin. All the time you're doing this, and the more you do it, the more you work it out, is that you just got to sort of know how much you can put in. And I have done this at dinner parties, where essentially I've just given everyone this couple of rolling mats and said, go for it. And it is hilarious. Everyone enjoys it, great fun. But you will end up with a few people whose eyes are bigger than their maki, and you'll end up with it everywhere. You'll never close. So let's add in a little bit of avocado on the top. So that should be fine for that. Nice thinnish line in the middle. And then we do it exactly the same way. So hold it in with your fingers, turn that over, tuck it in, and roll it across. Grab it. Hopefully your cling film hasn't stuck together too much, which it hasn't. Give that a roll. And there we go. Our Ura Maki, our inside out roll. Okay, so now for the next. This one is probably the easiest of them all. If you're just starting, you enjoy sushi, you've given that a go, it's not gone quite right, you can't go wrong with this one. So this is a hand roll. Nice and simple. We just get a good lump of rice. Just feel it out a bit so that it sits in the corner like this. So you want to widen towards the top, taper it down towards the bottom, and then we can load this one up. So I love, especially with this, so I'm going to put some carrot in, put in some spring onion, and then I'm going to use that crab that we had. Let's get a good spoonful of this in here. But this one is so much more forgiving. So all we're doing now is we're tucking one corner across, keep that in there, and then we grab that piece, fold it up, and create a cone. Like so. So there we go. Always got a bit at the bottom. Like I said, as you can do with the others. Grab a bit of rice. Use that and stick it down. There you have a hand roll. Okay, so the very last one I'm going to run through is the Gunkan. These are super easy. So the other half that I use for the hand roll of the nori, just cut it into 3. I'm going to get a piece of rice. I'm going to shape that into a little ball for that bit. Okay, got our ball. We can then just place that on here. Grab our end, fold that over, and then just roll it across. There'll always be a nice little bit of rice hanging around. Stick it under the end, and we can stick that down. Once that's there, just push it down with your finger inside. There's our little channel for it. And then in this one, just going to add in some of that crab meat that we made earlier. Pop that on top, give it a squeeze in a little bit. Ooh, a little bit escaped, can't have that. And then to that, just going to add a little bit of decoration. Okay, so we've made all of our sushi. Very last thing we've got to do, just dress it up a bit. So see here with my Gunkan, all I've done is put a little bit of chives on the top. Just makes it look a bit prettier. And then we get our inside out rolls, our Ura Maki. We've got some black sesame seeds down here. We're just going to roll it in there. Now we've got to work on slicing these. So what we need is a very, very sharp knife. And then what you want to do is just cover it in cold water. Give it a shake. And then just slice through your maki. There we have our perfect little rolls. The chef, the one at the end is always the chef's bit. All done. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you give it a go. It isn't super easy to do, but once you get the knack, it's fine. And if it messes up, it all tastes great anyway. So don't worry too much about it. Have a bit of fun with it. Put whatever you like in it. Throw your jalapenos in. Throw anything. You know, make it yours. So give it a go. Enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.